Greetings. Welcome to the Solstice Squad Pod. I'm not sure why I named it that, but we're here to talk about probably one of the most resonant days of our year for either hemisphere, and that is the midpoint of our cycle. We're all up here in the northern hemisphere, or the center of the record, however you choose to see it. So I will introduce my very learned and fun to talk to guests. The first being from the North 55th-ish parallel. That would be your favorite Twitter plasma account. Just joking, brother. TT90, how you been, brother?
Hey, what's up, everybody? I've been good, brother. Not doing bad.
Well, how's the UK treating you these days?
Same old craziness if you're interested in it, but if you tune out, it's all a bit of a laugh and a joke, isn't it? You've got to laugh or cry, one of the two.
It's a comic tragedy.
I think we got the same media, so I think have they been mixing in some high temperature stories? Like, are you guys testing the ceiling or what's going
on? You see the captions in the news, and it's same old story, Cujo, like worst in so many years, or the wettest on record, or I haven't really noticed much like that, but a couple of people have said to me there's something different about the sun and the moon.
Well, if you're walking around with some sleeveless shirts on, or however you guys roll over there, are you feeling the intensity of the sun or no?
It just feels different. It feels like a different light. It feels like it's an artificial white light shining down on you. And I don't believe in sun simulator either, but it's a different light.
All right. Well, before it gets too bright in here, my second guest, a friend who's been in the trenches in Twitter for quite some time. That would be AR or Awakened Reality. Do you have a nickname? How do you choose to be?
Well, I mean, you guys could call me Jeremy. I believe in being a transparent, open book. So, I usually, Awakened Reality is just the tag of my platform. But, as soon as I introduce myself to people, I like them to know me as I am. But you can call me whatever as long as I know you're addressing me and I'm here with you in the moment, I'll respond accordingly.
I like it. Jeremy works. AR sounds pretty cool too. Yeah. You're on the East Coast, somewhere 38-ish parallel, Maryland, you say?
Yes, that is correct.
How's the East Coast going?
It's been a while. I've only been here since January. I grew up in this area, but it's been many, many years, about 17 years since I've been back in this area. So the humidity is the one thing for me that affects my enjoyment of the outside. As far as the sun temperatures, it's actually been a lot more mild than I expected it to be. Now, of course, we have a military base literally not even a mile and a half from me, and it's one of the most prominent military bases on the East Coast, and there's constantly geoengineering going on and constantly a veil being put over. So I don't know if it has anything to do with that, or if it has to be a combination of the atmosphere changing and the astrological events that are going on above us. But it has been a lot more mild than I expected. I'm someone who lives outside. I live in the sun. I go from one skin tone to a completely different one very quickly, and so for me, I've been actually very, very surprised that I haven't been dealing with any mass temperatures. Everything seems below 90 for the most part. Like right now, I'm looking at about 88 degrees as the sun is getting closest to us as it is in this, during the day. And, I remember temperatures being, high 90s. Now we're just beginning the summer, so we'll see how that goes. This is the tip off, right? So I might be putting the cart in front of the horse and my foot in my mouth and be regretting saying that it's been mild. But it up until this point, it has been very comfortable. It's been great growing food season. And I'm hoping that we're going to continue to have a good summer here. We'll see.
I hear those subtle, sustainable tones in the garden there. Of course, I am your third host, Cujo, on the West Coast, on the North 33rd, and it's been nice. I mean, the Death Valley, right across the, in the valley, has been cooking. They're reaching the 130s, I think. So I don't think anybody's really happy about the desert, but that's not our problem this moment. I guess let's just start some straight up sun talk. Obviously, it's the thing. It's the main attraction. Maybe we're three wise men. We're following a star. At the end, what did we bring the sun? What's our gift that we're giving to the sun right now? We've been pretty locked in on its cycle for quite some time. Let's start with you, TT, just to kind of so folks can get to know us as we open up. What are you feeling good about right now? What are you doing right in your world?
What am I doing right? It's a tough one. I'll say I might not always be right, but I'll tell you straight. That's Yorkshire slang. That means I might not always be in the right, or might not always be correct, but I'll always tell you straight.
That's square. I think honesty is something that, I mean, we wouldn't be here if we hadn't been broken several times along the way.
And it's admitting that you don't know as well, because we don't know a lot of it.
Word. What about yourself, Jeremy? What are you doing better right now than you've ever done?
Well, I have this line that I talk about. It's funny, the synchronicity here, right? I have this line that I continue to say, that I believe that going into this new world, no matter where we feel we're going to end up, we have all this talk about currency reset, and I tell people that truth and integrity, transparency and integrity, are going to be your new currency. You can see the social credit scores and things like that going on in China and stuff like that. They're already alluding to this idea that you will be accountable, but that doesn't have to come from without. That doesn't need to be an outside force that is going to force you based off of fear to do the right thing, to be truthful with your words. When the Bible speaks of the sword coming out of your mouth, it's talking about words. It's S and word. You take them, and it's spoken word. It's saying the words. And so that is the sword that slays. Okay. And when you speak your truth, and when you are transparent and you're living with integrity, nothing can cut you down, and you will slay everything that stands in your way. So for me, it has been someone who dealt with being, a pathological liar, trying to please people, basically telling people what I felt they needed to hear in order to like me, or to make them feel better about their situations, telling the little white lies, if you will. Being able to cut all that out, being able to stand in my truth, and being able to be a messenger to help people. My whole entire career was being service to others. I was in the restaurant industry, the hospitality industry, my entire life. So I've always been someone who has excelled at being service to others. Now I have learned that I can take that service to a more profound level by making sure that I am speaking my truth, and my truth will change day to day, because if I'm not changing from day to day, then I'm not growing. So as long as I can answer why I am who I am, and help people try and find that ability to discover that within themselves, then I am grateful for all of the trials and tribulations that I've gone through in order to get to this point, to be able to do that consistently. Because we're all gonna continue to have ups and downs. We'll try and get to that balance. And that's what I'm trying to do, get to a balance to where I can live every day with that truth and that integrity that TT alluded to previously. So I'm right there with you guys on that.
Well, all roads lead to the Solstice Squad Pod, so you made it, brother.
Right on.
Before we get going too far, you've alluded to us framing it from like a geography level or a scientific level. Is there a different way you look at the world, AR, or something? Just not too long, just a way that you would frame how you see it.
Well, I mean, I believe we exist outside of the physical body. I believe that we exist somewhere else. I think being able to have a conversation with yourself inside your own head without moving the lips or the tongue, being able to have dreams, being able to sit down and close your eyes and visualize an entire world down to the T. It just proves that we exist elsewhere, that we are multidimensional beings. To me, that is something that resonates in my heart. I believe that this reset we're going through is not, as they say, as above, so below, and as within, so without. Just as there's a reset going on in the external world, I believe there's a reset going on inside of us as well. I believe dormant DNA is activating, and consciousness is raising, and frequencies are changing. So I personally have resonated with that side of this entire process. They're both equally as important. They're both equally as interesting to me. But as far as where my passion comes from, where I get excited, is talking about the metaphysical aspect of things, and possibility of alternate dimensions and parallel realities, and even other realms and worlds. No matter the cosmology you believe in, I believe that there is still a possibility that there are other worlds, whether it's a physical material plane or something you go experience in like a Doctor Strange type magical way. So that's where I tend to put my studies in right now, and that's where I'm diving in.
Whew. Yeah, I think my brain's smoking.
Sounds like
right
a
now.
good dive.
Have some knowledge. Let's see. If I were to answer the question, what talent am I bringing the sun god on summer solstice? Well, I guess I have the talent of finding good company. But TT, what are you thinking? Every year, summer solstice has been kind of a midpoint, has it not? Since you've been living with this model.
Yeah, sort of.
Well, does it? Is it kind of
something what it never ever come into my? I was never thinking about solstices or any of this stuff.
You're saying you're a conspiracy mind. You have Stonehenge, which doesn't the sun look through like the keyhole or something? That never.
All lines up, but is that original, or was that like? Is everything fake in that sense? I don't know. I've heard some stuff about Stonehenge. I don't know what to think about it, but whether that's real or not, the point still stands that they're always tracking the sun and they're always tracking the sky, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So them things, they like basically just like sundials, calendars, clocks, and it's all off the sky clock. And it seems to be counting down to something. I think that's the point of it.
Well, and if you want to mess with us, if time starts to speed up our voices like chipmunks as this pod goes on. It'd be kind of like an insider tip. Well, that's kind of it. If you're casually just kind of dipping in summer solstice pod, you're like, sure, what the heck? I guess the model we're looking at is essentially like a record player, and the needle is on the tightest thread, and it kind of races out to the end. When people hear words like Cancer and Capricorn, they kind of like flip to astrology, but it's points on our map where the sun goes. We got 6 months left. I don't want to rush us or anything like that. AR, what do you think when you're considering the summer solstice? Is it on your radar in any significant way?
Well, I believe that the solstice are extremely important, not just for time tracking, but for energy, for things like meditation and growth in all aspects. Growth for our food, growth for our climate, growth for our individual self. So it's always been, you can't ignore the ancient cultures who seem to have so much more knowledge about everything, about how the cosmology of our world, how we are all connected with everything in existence. Their structures are far more grand and far more intricate, the sacred geometry. So to ignore their teachings would be foolish. To act like we're at the peak of civilization, to me, is foolish. To think that we have all the answers right now is foolish. So, when like you said, when the Vatican has the largest sundial in the world right in their front yard, and the largest telescope observatory named Lucifer, the light bringer, there's so much to be said about that.
There's something going on.
Yeah. So to us, our job right now to continue to keep an open mind and to continue to share information, and to not get bogged down by people who are going to be naysayers, or not want to engage and only give their point of view and not want to be open to engagement. I always find that a little odd when people come into these truth movements or these platforms of sharing information, and they don't want their comments on, or they don't want to accept DMs, or they don't want to join group conversations like this because they feel like they've already got it all figured out. And so we just have to keep an open mind and continue to allow this information is all still just coming in. That's why I don't believe we're as imminently close as some other people might believe, but I could be completely wrong. I'm prepared for it either way. I do believe that we have some time, and that this age of Aquarius is really just getting kicked off, and so this information is all coming back, and it's being able to be received because people are, one, they're becoming open-minded to it. Two, their pineal glands, if you'll allow the anatomy to do what it's supposed to do, is starting to receive the photons of light. That's where we receive information. It's an angle of light. It comes in. They call them angels, but it's an angle of light, and these messengers are coming in. And so if we continue to just keep an open heart and an open mind, we're going to get all the answers in due time. We are going to receive. I don't believe any of us that have the eyes to see and the ears to hear are going to go into anything blind. I think that it's our nature to want to rush to the end answers, the end game, if you will. But I believe that that's just human nature. And I believe that's where disconnecting and slowing down and trying to be in the moment and continuing to engage with all these new platforms that pop up, they're going to be people that have a different piece of the puzzle, and we just gotta keep our eyes and ears open without trying to rush to it. And I think we're going to receive everything we need to make the decisions we need to make to end up where we want to be, not where somebody else tells us we have to be, whether it's a government or a parent or a spouse or whatever. You will be able to make an individual decision on how this goes down. I truly believe that. I believe that's why free will exists. And I believe we're just starting to realize how that free will works again. So it all makes sense.
You can't skip the end game. There's a bunch of Marvel movies you have to watch first.
Right, exactly. Yep. There's a comic book.
Well, let me ask you this. You mentioned maybe truthers popping on the scene with new platforms, and they get bum rushed, all that. To those folks that are dropping into the scene late, yeah, I'm sorry, it's a frenzy. There's been a lot of clown jobs before you, so we're just trying to collect information and disseminate it. People say it a different way, but yeah, welcome to the party. It's pretty interesting. TT, are you still trying to balance both worlds, or are you just kind of shaking your head at folks?
It's getting to that point. I think we've touched on it, that what more can you really do? If somebody new comes across it, then you might be able to, here's watch this video, But apart from that, it's just like watching and waiting. And I think it's, for me personally, I think it's more like what Jeremy's saying. To be honest, I'm pretty much done with the model and everything. I don't get into trying to debate the model or debate the dome or whatever. There's no point, is there now? There's enough information out for you to get to grips with it.
Well, people get hung up on oh, you're a spook or something. Oh, a GI man. No, I don't think there's an us or them. I think you've said that before. There's people bringing information to light, and people package it different ways, and hopefully you solve that puzzle and it gets you through.
You take what you take. As in nearly every single person who I used to be into. Now, if I went on and said, "Oh, listen to so and so," oh, shill. But end of the day, you've still learnt what you've learnt from it, haven't you? And you moved on. I almost picture it as if you're talking about gatekeepers and everything. Well, they're guarding the gate. It's up to you to shove them out the way and go through the gate, isn't it? It's not forcing you. It's just.
Got a couple questions left. First one is any creators, any YouTubers on your radar right now, TT, that you're enjoying their content? Maybe we'll put a spotlight on them.
What? Who's the guy? Who's your mate? What do you call it? Magic Man. The Raiders of the Lost Ark video. Get on that.
Oh yes, yeah. We'll link that.
Legend. I don't know about the sun moving in a different direction, but
I'll put a link. That's a good shout. What about you, AR? Are you picking up any good content these days?
Like I said, I've been focused specifically on the spiritual side. So I'm very, very interested in what's called the sacred secretion meditation and the biology of the inner workings of your body and how it is actually affected by all these different astronomical events. So right now, I mean, it's Santos Bonacci, obviously, and John St. Julian, and all these people have talked about this. But if you really want the best breakdown of it, and it has pictographs and the whole nine, and I think she's much more clear and calm about presenting it. Santos kind of goes from like one point, he'll like zoom all the way to another point. And you're like, wait, what happened there? Kelly Marie Kerr is her name, and I believe if you're interested in just learning about the plasma inside of you and how it flows, the electromagnetic, and then Eileen Cusack is another one who deals with the bioelectric magnetic field and tuning forks and how you can, build up your aura and use that aura to heal and start tapping into higher consciousness and receiving information and downloads more proficiently and clearly. So those are the two right now that I'm just absolutely infatuated with. And like I said, I'm someone who just tries to bridge people to all these great works. Like TT said, it's no longer about knocking on people's doors and trying to say, hey, you need to see what I discovered. When people come to the information, they come to it, and it's like, here, I'll guide you and I'll point you in the direction that worked best for me. Other than that, I'm not here to argue the facts or the science. We can't argue that anymore. It is what it is.
And I think, who would I point at? I'm still, even though like the older truther YouTube accounts, they really don't do it for me because they're not interactive, but I still preach New Earth. Their old world, new world prophecy series. Woo, that's a good listen at night. That'll tuck you in. Of course, I'll put a spotlight at IB. Cheers, brother. Did some great videos about the backpack and what you should have in it. And of course, Chris X Matt, keep grinding, brother.
Big up.
I think that's it. Let's end with something fun. A summer solstice pop culture reference. If you have one right off the bat, go for it. TT, you got one, or AR? Which something from the movie that references summer solstice or winter solstice.
I don't know if I've got summer. I usually focus on winter, but.
Well, I know Wicker Man. That's an easy one. Got that Nick Cage meme.
Well, I mean, it used to be the Burning Man concert, right? The coming together. I mean, that was the big thing that, people from all different aspects of didn't matter the music genre or the art genre, it was a huge celebration of the solstice, if I'm not mistaken. And that was always something I always wished I could have participated in, and still hope I'll get the chance. The Burning Man concert was, I believe, a huge celebration and sharing of information and worlds. It was worlds coming together. Even though we all live on this plane together, we all come from different worlds. We might be living on the same plane, but we definitely are experiencing different worlds. That is for sure.
I like that.
Nice, man. Well, there's what's that new TV series? Is it Midsummer? That might be one.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it, but that might be one.
Well,
and you just had Lorde, or whatever her name is, come back on the music scene after years of silence, being one of the biggest artists in the world. And her first album and song is named Solar Powered, or Solar Power, or something like that. I mean, they're just throwing it in your face every chance.
Hasn't that happened a few times? Like, didn't a few of them do that? Like, they've come back just to give you the swan song. What do you call them? Them who sing the song Jeremy. What they called now?
Pearl Jam. Yep, it's a song I reference all the time. Dance of the Clairvoyants.
The one you sent me, the Dance of the Clairvoyants. Check that out.
And then Incubus's Our Love is where I get the idea of stepping into another world, or like the old band Alien Ant Farm with the song Movies, where they go through the movie screen into another world. The Incubus and the Pearl Jam came out right at the beginning of 2020, right as everything started happening, after years of being silent, after years of not doing anything, and they both come out with songs that it's right in your face. I mean,
that's a good one.
Obvious as obvious could be. Yeah,
it's a good one.
Yeah.
I got a goodie, guys, to close out. Do you remember that flick Logan's Run, 76?
I've heard about it, but I don't know if I ever saw it. My ADHD did not allow me to sit tight and actually watch entertainment for years until I just recently. So I'm like backlogging so many things, like sitting watching things that I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it. And it's great for me now because I have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. So I can actually see the deeper symbology in
Oh,
these things.
Logan's
But
Run will definitely shake you. It
I just
dropped
wrote
a
it down.
year. It dropped a year before Star Wars. So after that, Star Wars changed sci-fi. I kind of washed it out. But one of the early scenes, they go to carousel. It's where they go in a gallery of people, watch people starting to float up in the air, and then get zapped when they hit the quote unquote dome in the room. That takes place on Capricorn. They announce it right before. So you want to go full circle? Maybe we can go Solstice Squad Pod Winter Solstice Edition. What do you say, gents?
Of course, always glad to chat with you guys.
Good times. TT, where can people reach you if they want to?
I'll be on Twitter. I'm gonna try and limit my internet time, though. I think.
How dare you?
But if you chat to me, if you DM me or something, I'll try to answer. You know what I mean?
Good man.
I'll be
Hold down
the
the
around.
UK, yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Cheers, brother. AR, Jeremy, where can folks find you?
I am currently on all platforms. I stream to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live, usually between 7 and 9 p.m. I try and do it daily as of right now. And then, of course, I'm on Twitter and Instagram and the WhatsApp. So I've made myself available in a counseling aspect to try and help people just have somebody they can turn to and just talk about whatever's going on in their life, regardless if it's about these subjects or not, just because we're in a very trying time. And people just need an ear to be able to turn to. So I am available, but I understand exactly what TT says. I've tried to limit myself as far as getting on and scrolling through repetitive content when we pretty much have a lot of it narrowed down. And I believe that we'll be guided to the next big piece, and we'll be led to log on and go, oh, okay, look at that. There's a new YouTube video in the algorithm for me to watch. Exciting. But right now I am completely available on all platforms. So if you just type in Awaken Reality and look for this icon, you'll pretty much find me. And I'm on Telegram as well. So I'm everywhere.
Good man. Thank you for making some time. It was a pleasure to chat, brother.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you for having me.
Word. Solstice Squad Pod out.